Abxylute 3D One takes handheld gaming literally to a whole new dimension. With groundbreaking glasses-free 3D technology and powerful AI-driven features, it transforms both classic and modern gaming into breathtaking, immersive experiences. The device's impressive 11-inch 120Hz display and eye tracking allow players to dive deep into lifelike three-dimensional worlds. No special eyewear required. In this video, we are going to discuss 10 features of Abxylute 3D One that make you feel amazed. Glasses-free 3D screen that actually looks insane. So first up, the headline act, that wild 11-inch glasses-free 3D screen. Imagine booting up Elden Ring or Baldur's Gate 3 and the world doesn't just fill the display, it literally pops out of it without you wearing any goofy cinema glasses or VR headset. This is an auto-stereoscopic panel with eye tracking and a special lens setup that constantly adjusts the 3D effect to where your face is, so the depth feels natural instead of like a headache generator. For solo gamers, it's honestly kind of game-changing. You sit in that sweet spot and bosses, spells and particle effects feel like they're layered in actual 3D space. The best part is that if your eyes start to get tired, there's a literal hardware toggle on top to instantly kill the 3D effect and go back to a clean 2D 120Hz display, so you're never locked into gimmick mode when you just want to grind or chill. Instant AI 2D to 3D conversion on almost anything. You're not limited to a tiny list of fancy 3D ready games. The Abxylute 3D One has background software that uses AI to convert flat 2D content into 3D on the fly. And it works on way more than just PC games. Movies, old shows, random YouTube clips, retro games, and even basic stuff like photos and documents can be pushed through this pipeline to gain a sense of depth. Obviously, not everything will feel native 3D perfect, but for a lot of content you suddenly get that layered look, like characters sitting clearly in front of backgrounds instead of everything being on the same cardboard plane. For retro fans, this is huge. Think about taking old school titles and giving them a subtle but very real 3D feel without any modding or hacking. It basically turns your backlog into a giant experiment lab where you're constantly going, okay, how sick will this look in 3D? Over 50 Steam games with true native 3D. Now, for the purists who hate fake anything, yes, there is proper native 3D support baked in for a ton of modern heavy hitters. Abxylute has actually teamed up with developers to tap straight into the game engines of more than 50 Steam titles, so the handheld can pull real depth data instead of guessing it after the fact. That means cleaner separation between foreground and background, better edge clarity, and way less input or visual latency compared to regular post-process conversions. We're talking massive AAA titles like Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, Death Stranding, Sekiro, Black Myth Wukong, Metaphor, ReFantazio, and more getting bespoke treatment. When spells fly across the screen or a giant boss stomps toward you in true 3D, it doesn't just look cool, it actually changes how you read the battlefield and judge distances. 120Hz, 11-inch panel built for both play and work. So specs nerds, this one's for you. The screen isn't just 3D, it's a custom 11-inch 120Hz panel, meaning high refresh and low latency baked right in. So when you switch the 3D off and go full try-hard mode in competitive titles, you're effectively holding a compact, high-refresh gaming display with Windows under the hood. The size also puts it in this interesting mini tablet territory, big enough for cinematic 3D and productivity stuff, but still small enough to throw in a backpack and not feel like you're hauling a full laptop. And because it runs Windows, that same screen goes from anime and Steam to spreadsheets and game dev tools just by snapping on a keyboard and propping the kickstand. Eye tracking powered 3D that follows your face. The secret sauce behind that convincing 3D effect is a combo of eye-tracking cameras and lenticular lenses working together in the background. The device is constantly watching where your eyes are and adjusting the image so each eye gets the right slice of the picture, which is what tricks your brain into seeing actual depth instead of just blur. This stuff has existed in monitors like Samsung's Odyssey 3D, but here it's shrunk down and tuned for that one-player handheld sweet spot. It doesn't try to do couch co-op 3D for 4 people. It just nails that single-user, personal screen experience. The result is a much more stable 3D effect when you shift slightly in your chair or hunch forward in a boss fight. You don't have to sit perfectly still like a statue, and that alone takes away a ton of the jank people remember from the early days of glasses-free 3D. Windows Handheld that morphs into a mini PC. One of the coolest sleeper features is how easily this thing transforms from pure handheld to a mini desktop setup. There's a built-in kickstand on the back, so you can park it on a desk, flip off the controllers, and suddenly it behaves like a tiny Windows all-in-one. You can slap on a magnetic keyboard attachment and basically treat it like a powerful tablet running full Windows, not some locked-down console OS. That means Steam, Epic, emulators, launchers, mods, your normal apps, all of it lives on the same device that you were just holding in both hands on the couch. For content creators or students, it's pretty sick. Edit a thumbnail, tweak a script, Alt-tab into Elden Ring 3D, then back to work again without changing machines. It really blurs that line between gaming handheld and travel PC, especially if you're already deep into the PC ecosystem. Intel Core Ultra 7 with efficient grunt. Under the hood, it's running Intel's Core Ultra 7258V, which is a laptop-class chip tuned more for efficiency than just brute force performance. Is it the absolute fastest thing on the planet compared to big AMD monsters in some other handhelds? No, but that's not really the point here. The idea is to push 3D and 120 Hz without cooking your hands or murdering the battery in 20 minutes. And an efficient Ultra 7 paired with 32 GB of LPDDR5X RAM and 1 TB of storage goes a long way toward that balance. You're still getting proper AAA performance in a ton of modern titles, while having headroom for the AI processing and 3D work happening in the background. And 32 GB RAM on a handheld is just luxurious for multitasking, modding, or running heavier PC apps alongside your games. It feels more like a serious compact workstation that happens to do mind-bending 3D gaming rather than a toy. Detachable mega controllers with hall sticks and touchpad. Let's talk controls, because Abxylute didn't just slap on some cheap sticks and call it a day. The controllers are big, chunky, and fully detachable, kind of like oversized Joy-Cons, and they can snap together into one huge controller for use with another device. Inside, you've got Hall effect analog sticks, which means they use magnetic sensors instead of old-school potentiometers. Translation: way less chance of stick drift ruining your life mid-match. You also get analog triggers for proper racing and shooters, plus a Steam Deck-style touchpad that helps a ton with mouse-heavy games or desktop navigation. For a device that's meant to handle everything from Elden Ring to random Windows apps, that extra touchpad honestly makes it feel way less frustrating. Combine that with the detachable design, and you've effectively got 3 modes: pure handheld, tabletop with split controllers, and full controller plus PC setup. Works with VR style side-by-side and 3DS content. The 3D magic here isn't limited to PC blockbusters. It also plays really nicely with existing 3D ecosystems. Side-by-side 3D content, like a lot of VR-ready video and media, can be shown in native 3D, so you're not relying on conversion tricks at all for that type of file. On top of that, emulated Nintendo 3DS titles are supported in a way that lets them flex their original stereoscopic design on a much bigger, sharper screen. And remember, when something doesn't have baked-in 3D, you can still feed it through the AI conversion anyway, and see how far you can push the illusion. It's like a sandbox for every flavor of 3D media you can get your hands on. Premium, early adopter beast with a serious price tag. To be honest, this thing is not a budget toy, it's a flex. The Abxylute 3D One launched through Kickstarter with early bird pricing starting around $1,499 USD. And the retail price is expected to land closer to $1,799 USD. That puts it in the same ballpark as buying a serious gaming laptop, or even more than some high-end GPUs alone. But what you're paying for is first-wave access to glasses-free 3D done properly on a handheld Windows machine, with a custom 120Hz screen, stacked RAM, big SSD, and those trick controllers. For most people, this is absolutely an enthusiast gadget, a day one early adopter toy for gamers who want to experience where handheld tech might be going in the next few years. If that's you, then yeah, it's expensive, but it's also the kind of device that makes your friends go, wait, that's running Baldur's Gate 3 in 3D in your hands? Okay, so that's all for this video. Let me know in the comments about your thoughts on this one. Hit the like, subscribe button for more great gaming handhelds. Thanks for watching.